Okay guys, welcome to another episode of HalfPint Cooking. Today we're going to make a cheese roll-up. And we're going to make our own bread that's a self-rising bread, which means it has baking powder instead of yeast in it. It'll rise by itself, we don't need to wait and let it rise. It's really fast and good. So I'm going to show you how to do it. First of all, you need a bowl. Pretty, like a medium-sized mixing bowl. You need 1.5 cups of flour. Okay, so I just like to fluff it up, tap it out. Remember, that's how we measure a cup. So you need 1.25, fluff it up, cut it off. Okay, 1.25 cups of flour. Then we need 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Shake it up, pour it in. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Remember, my baking powder is really cool. It has a scraper already built in just for scraping off. Then we need 1 teaspoon of paprika. Paprika just adds a little bit more flavor and a really pretty color to these. So I'm just giving it a little mix. Okay, as soon as we have all of that mixed in, we are going to add 4 tablespoons of butter, or that's 1/2 of a cube. And here comes the fun part, is we're going to mix it with our hands. Make sure your hands are clean. You know what? My hands are not clean because I just want to help the kids. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to clean my work area because we're going to roll this out on our counter. So I just have a Clorox wipe that I'm just sanitizing my counter. And then I'm going to let that dry and wash my hands. Okay, my hands are now clean and dried on a paper towel so they stay clean. If you wash your hands and then dry your hands on a dirty towel, that kind of defeats the whole purpose. So make sure you have a clean towel to dry your hands or just use a paper towel. Okay, so I'm just mixing this with my hands. You want to make sure you have softened butter. You just mix it in. And when you feel like the butter's all dispersed and mixed good enough, you are going to add 1/2 cup of milk. So when we measure liquids, we use a liquid measuring cup. You make sure it's on a flat surface. Make sure you know where you're going. So I'm going to the 1/2 cup mark and I'm pouring it in carefully. Okay, as soon as I get to that 1/2 cup mark, I stop and then I'm going to pour it in my flour mixture. I'm going to start with a spoon just to mix it in a little because I don't want all the milk on my fingers. Mix it as much as I can like that. And I'm going to dig down and I'm going to get my hands dirty now and mix it up. And make sure to get all of that dry stuff on that flour from your bowl. And look, I've just made this soft dough. And you just want to go in. If it's too sticky and sticking to your counter, you can add more flour to your counter. But this feels just about perfect. See, it's not sticking, but it's still mixing. The proper way to knead is to use your wrist and push it forward. Since this is such a small piece, I'm just kneading it with one hand. I'll just switch, roll it, knead it, until it gets a little bit smoother. The longer you knead it, the smoother it will get. I'm sure we could just knead this for a long time still, but we're going to call it good. Now what we want to do is we want to get a rolling pin. I like to start it out. What we're going to do is we're going to make a rectangle. So I like to start my dough out in a rectangular shape, and it makes it easier to roll it out in the shape that I want it. So I've got a rolling pin. Now if you don't have a rolling pin, you can use a tall cup that has no designs on the side and you can roll it out that way. It doesn't need to be huge. I say the thinner the better, but just get it as thin as you can get it without breaking into pieces. Look, I can still pick it up soft dough. Okay, so I've got a rectangle. Now you're gonna grate some cheese or use some already grated cheese, or shredded cheese. And you're just gonna put cheese all over. Not too much, but a pretty good amount. Okay, then we're getting the sides and we're rolling it up from the long side. So we're making it a long sausage type. Okay, when you get to the end, what you're gonna do is you're gonna pinch the end to the main part so that all of your cheese doesn't fall out and that it stays together. Okay, so we've got a long roll here. Okay, be careful, but that's what it looks like. Now we're gonna cut it. Everybody probably has a butter knife, so you can use a butter knife. And I kind of like to mark it. If I wanted 12 of these, I would do it in half first, and then I'd do that half in half again. And then each of these halves I would make into 3 pieces, if that makes sense. So this would give me 3, this would give me 3. Over here, I would have 3, and over here, I would have 3. So that gives me 12. You don't have to do it that way. You can just mark it. Anyway, then you can just push down and cut these up, okay? Or you can use a pastry knife and do it the same way. I prefer the pastry knife, it's just a little smoother, that's what it's made for. Okay. Now we have a sheet pan with parchment on it. Now we're gonna pick these up and we're gonna lay them so the spiral is on top. And we're gonna flatten them out a little bit. Okay, that's it. Now that they're all done, we're gonna put them in the oven at 425 degrees for about 18 minutes. Now every oven is a little bit different, so I would check it maybe about 16 minutes, and if it needs more time, keep going. But it usually takes my oven about 18 minutes. One thing that you can do, and should do while you're baking, is clean up your mess. Make sure you clean up after yourselves, wash your hands before and after, so you're not, my hands are kind of greasy and I don't want to make everything else around me greasy too. Okay, the timer for the cheese roll-ups rang. It's 18 minutes. They're perfectly golden and cooked, nice and melted. And that's how you make these cheese roll-ups. Thanks for watching HalfPint Cooking. Bye. Did I say Clorox? I meant so I have a Clorox. And I forgot to turn the oven on. Dang it.